Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is a welcome back for me since I have been gone for several months, but I am excited to be back and talking to you guys all about all the fall vibe, spooky season reads that I have here today. Wait, my name's Erin. I didn't say that, but my name is Erin. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming and let's hang out for a little bit and talk about fall books, spooky reads. 'Tis the season. It is October 1st. We are ready to get into the fall season, the spooky season vibes. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about not necessarily an October TBR, but some books that I have chosen that I think are going to be really, really great for the season, kind of get into that creepy season. So a couple of fantasies that kind of have that vibe, some horror, some just creepy, dark academia. I feel like that fits for this time of year. First and foremost, I'm gonna cut to another clip just of me kind of getting ready to talk about and catch up on where I've been for the past couple of months, what's been going on, talking about some mental health problems, talking about just overall life problems. I just want to kind of have a little chit chat. So I'm doing my makeup in that little clip that I'm gonna post here and just kind of getting ready, talking about what's been going on in my life. If you don't want to listen to that and don't want to hear me ramble on and on while I should be doing my makeup, because I kind of spend more time talking than I do actually doing my makeup, but want to just talk about books and talk about what I have going on, I'll put a little timestamp down below so you can just skip on over to the good part. Otherwise, can do the little catch up with me, see how things have been going, and then we'll talk about books. So I will meet you back here in just a few minutes to talk about all of the fun fall books that I have that I'm hoping to read this October-November season. Okay, so let's chat while I'm doing my makeup. I actually look presentable for the rest of this video, but I figured I would just come and chat with you guys while I'm putting on makeup and let's catch up. Let's see, where I've been, what's been going on. It's obviously been quite a few months since I posted a video, and I think that we should talk about it. Let's talk about why I've gone several months without posting a video or even been reading or doing anything that brings me joy in my life. I think that having the conversations and letting other people know that they're not alone, that people who post their lives on social media and share things with the world also go through stuff, and we should talk about it. My last video that I posted, I think, was sometime back in the spring, and I really enjoyed posting videos. I loved making my YouTube channel and kind of building it up and interacting with all you guys, and it was super fun. It was something that I wasn't worried about views or worried about numbers or anything like that. I just enjoyed making videos and talking about books. I love reading, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So it wasn't that I felt any type of overwhelming pressure to get videos up at a certain time or, doing the latest and greatest with everything. I fell into a little bit of a mental rut, if you will. I know that, I'm not special. I know that life is challenging for a lot of us a lot of times. I feel very fortunate to, have a house and have pets and have my amazing fiance and all of that, but sometimes life just gets hard. And so I found myself getting to a point where, I'm just gonna lay it all out there for you guys. I would wake up in the morning, I would find it incredibly challenging to wash my hair, brush my teeth, take care of the basic things in life that we need to do in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I wasn't working out. Like I said, I wasn't even brushing my teeth, guys. I just felt this overwhelming sense of sadness all the time. And I have struggled with anxiety and depression probably all my life, but since I was in my early 20s where I started taking medicine for it, and I've been on and off different things, you know, over the course of the past 10 years. And I had come off my medicine because I felt like I was doing okay and everything felt easy and fine and wonderful. And I don't know, just something hit me in the spring and I've been going through it, guys. You know, for us that have an unwell brain, it's tough. It really is tough. And I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't think that we talk about those really embarrassing things that happen, like not brushing your teeth and not brushing your hair and not washing your hair and all of that kinds of stuff. I don't know, that just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks in the spring, and I had no motivation to make videos. I had no motivation to read. It was like I would just wake up in the morning and work, get my working hours in, and then just veg. I mean, like spending time on social media and wondering why I can't get my shit together like everybody else seems to be able to do. And then you just, you spend a lot of time like comparing yourself to everyone else. And I'm like, wow, all these other people are super successful and they're out there doing the dang thing. And I can't pull myself together. I can't wrap my head around making a video. I can't even wrap my head around picking up a book, even though I know that's going to make me happy. I just couldn't do it. So I stopped. I stopped doing the thing that I knew would make me happiest. And it's just been, in the past like couple of weeks where I'm like, I think I could do this again. So here I am. A couple of other things kind of happened throughout the year that definitely took a toll. Me and my fiance ended up postponing our wedding. So last week we were supposed to get married. Obviously that did not happen. And that's okay. It was the right decision. There's no love lost or anything like that. It just, we've been living in a crazy world the past, 2 years, and everybody's moving their weddings around and having to make accommodations and things like that. And so we just felt that with us, buying our house last summer in 2021 and just different financial reasons, it was the best thing for us to do was to postpone our wedding. So as much as I know that in this half of my brain, that was the right decision for us to do, it was sad. I felt like my heart was broken a little bit. As a female, a lot of us spend a lot of time thinking about our wedding and what it's going to be like and how magical, and you have this picture in your head of how everything's going to go. And my wedding planning process was just not like that. I was met with stress and anxiety around every corner. I found, I had friends come up to go wedding dress shopping with me, and though that was a fun time, I was stressed the entire time. Like, do I look thin enough? Do I look fat in this? Am I ugly? How do my arms look? Let's cover that up. Let's do this. And as beautiful as the dresses that I tried on were, and the one that I ended up ultimately picking, I felt uncomfortable in my own skin, and I never have that love for myself that I want to have. And so that was stressful. Picking a venue, colors, flowers, like things that are supposed to be fun to like make this day come to life. I was, again, just met with such anxiety, such stress, I'm a people pleaser. So just wanting to make sure that everyone else was happy with the decisions that I was making for my day. And, because I didn't want to upset anybody and I didn't want anyone to have their feelings hurt. So ultimately my feelings were hurt. I was the one that suffered because of that. And, when we decided to push the wedding, I feel like I just felt like a failure all around. I felt like a failure. I felt like nothing I do is good enough. Nothing I do is right. Why can't things just be easy for me for once? Why am I always the one that has to, suffer? And it's just I don't know why we're so hard on ourselves. I'm 30 years old. I'm doing the best I can. I have a job. I have pets. I have a fiance. I have a house. Very blessed, very fortunate. I don't know why I don't look at those things and think, wow, you're doing it. You're doing a great job. Like, no one taught you how to do all of this stuff. Like, you're out here, you're living, you know, you're not on the streets. And I don't know why I can't celebrate the things that I've actually accomplished. I don't know why I have to sit and think about all the things that I haven't accomplished and all the things that I don't have. And that just weighs you down. It just weighs you down. And then you just kind of get into a swing of what your life is going to look like. So I just wake up every day and get up and work and, you know, try to spend some time with my partner. And then it was just, you know, time to get ready, go to bed, and do it all over again the next day. I found myself not doing anything on the weekends, not going out with friends, not, you know, just not doing any of those things, just not wanting to do any of those things. And again, like, I couldn't really sit here and tell you why. I just didn't want to. And I know that was the chemical imbalance in my head. I know that was the depression sinking back in. I know that was a lot of anxiety. I know all of that. But even knowing all of that and knowing that you should do things in order to break the cycle and come out of that slump, it's hard to actually put that into practice. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. And again, I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm unique. I don't think that I'm going through anything that so many other people go through. But everybody's different. Everybody handles things differently. Everybody processes things differently. Some people internalize their problems. Some people, you know, go to therapy and talk about their problems and try to work through things. And I just wasn't doing anything. Again, my brain was like, oh, like, if you got back in therapy, if you got back on your medication, if you moved your body more, you know, you'd feel so much better. But I had no motivation to do anything. I was just a shell of a human. I stopped talking in my book club chats, and I love being part of the book community, and I just fell off the planet. Like, I just reclused into my hole of the routine that I knew that I could get myself through every single day, just waiting to get back. I mean, honestly, just waiting to get back to sleep, just waiting to not have to deal with it all, waiting for my brain to finally quiet down and just go to sleep every single night. And that's tough to say out loud. It's embarrassing. I don't really know like what the right words are to describe the feelings that I went through, but that was basically like my entire summer. We didn't have any summer vacations. We didn't have anything. It's just kind of the same old. And, you know, so now we're kind of, you know, getting into fall. Like, it's October 1st, it's spooky season. And over the past couple of weeks, I've been really debating, you know, whether or not I just want to completely ixnay my booktube channel, and, you know, or if it's something that I want to continue to do. And I've just been telling myself, you know, I like doing this. Like, I like coming on here and talking about books that I've read or want to read, or, you know, popular opinions, like all of that kinds of stuff. Like, I love talking about that. It makes me happy. And I should do the things that make me happy. And so here I am. Here I am. We're going to talk about some books in this video too. It's not just going to be me sitting here rambling on about how sad I've been for the past couple of months. I just feel like it's important for us to talk about these things. I think it's important for people to know that they're not alone and that we all go through this stuff. And it's not about just not going through these periods of hard times in our lives. We're gonna go through it. Like, life isn't just gonna be perfect all the time. We're gonna go through it. It's about how you deal with it. It's about how you come back for it. It's about making the decision to figure out what works for you, how to make your life as easy as possible as it can be for you, and running with it and having a good time with life, because life is short and it's hard. Had a couple of family members, not a couple, one, had a, my fiance's grandmother passed away over the summer, and, so just being with family, it's important. It's, our days are numbered. And I can either choose to sit here and feel sorry for myself and be sad all the time, or I can try to live my life and try to do things that bring me even the smallest little glimmer of happiness. And just, life happens, guys. It's good, it's bad, it's ugly, it's messy, it's beautiful, all at the same time. And I don't know, like, we're all just on this floating rock, and it's just not that serious. It's not worth it. It's not worth me sitting here and crying and complaining, and like, for what? For what? The only person miserable is me. And I don't know. So we're back at it. We're gonna start talking about some books. I think for today's video, gonna be talking about some spooky season reads that I have acquired and I would like to read. It's kind of like an unofficial TBR for the month of October. Nothing too challenging, not gonna push myself too far. We are definitely in our DNF era. If we're not feeling it, if something gives me uncozy vibes, makes me question my sanity, I will be putting it down, because life is too short to read books that make us feel uncomfortable or that are boring. So I'll be talking about a couple of books that I have that I want to read, a couple of horror books, I think I have a thriller or two, dark academia vibes, because I feel like that's very fitting for the season. I think it's going to be great. We'll chat about those. Also, I think I have a couple of ideas for a video or two coming up. While I was slumping, I feel like I wasn't reading like actual physical books. I read a couple here and there, but I spent a lot of time reading Kindle Unlimited books. I just feel like a lot of times those are really good to kind of kick you out of a reading slump when you just can't stand to process anything too heavy or, too extreme or anything like that. Kindle Unlimited has been great. I would actually say that those books saved my reading gear, to be completely honest, because I wouldn't have read as many. I've read 75 books this year thus far. I'm hoping to make it to 100 by the end of the year. Definitely think that's doable now that I'm feeling a little bit better about myself. But I would not be at 75 books for the year if it weren't for the saving grace of Kindle Unlimited, because I flew through some of those books. The way that some of those books had a chokehold on me, especially the ones that had like multiple books in the series, I was just flying through them. So easy, so convenient. I had them on my phone. Audiobooks also saved me during the year, because I could listen to audiobooks like while I was working or while I was doing something else. I do want to talk about kind of how I feel like I've kicked myself out of the slump that I was in for so many months. I'm not back on any medication or anything like that, but I have started to take better care of myself. And I tell you what, as dumb as it sounds, I know there's like a couple videos going around on TikTok where it's like, I hate when the dumb things that are suggested to you in order to help with your mental clarity and your mental health and just make you feel better, you almost kind of hate when that actually works, like going for a stupid little walk or doing a stupid little workout or drinking that stupid glass of water, things like that. It's amazing. It actually works. So the end of July, I got a Peloton. So I got a Peloton bike. My best friend has one. Well, two of my best friends have one. But my very best friend, she got one at the beginning of the year, and she was just talking about how awesome it was and how great it was to have that bike in her house, that she loves to cycle. I also like to cycle. It was like my go-to machine at the gym back when I had a membership. And so finally just took the leap, because those things are expensive. They are a lot of monies. And I was terrified that I was going to, get a bike and pay all this money for it. And then it was going to become like a coat rack, and ultimately we're just going to end up giving it away, or trying to sell it for, what it potentially would be worth at that point in time. But I finally got one. So I love it. 10 out of 10 recommend. It's just so easy for me to go down into my basement where my bike is, and do, even if I'm just not feeling it that day and just not wanting to actually do anything, I can do like a 10-minute ride, a 15-minute ride, 20-minute ride, or 30-minute ride if I want to, and do strength workouts and core workouts and arm workouts, and I've actually really, really enjoyed it. It makes me feel so much better. And maybe I don't want to do it, the 5 minutes when it reminds me like, hey, you have a class coming up, but I feel so good and so accomplished and so proud of myself while I'm doing the dang thing. And then I feel so great about myself when I'm done with it and I come back upstairs and I am sweaty and gross, and I'm just like, wow, like I moved my body. I did something. Like my body is capable of doing these really hard things. And it's not about losing weight. It's not about, I don't know. It, like, for me, the working out was just, it wasn't about losing weight. It was about feeling better about the skin that I am in. And your body is so amazing. It can do impossible things. We can do tough things. But, but beyond just like actually working out and taking that time for myself, drinking my water, moving around more, taking my dogs for walks, eating a little bit better, cooking meals at home, not just eating out all the time. All of those things have really, really, really helped me kind of just get through all of this and be in a better spot. I found myself finding time to actually want to read a book and sit down in the evening or right before bed, or on the weekends, or when someone's doing reading sprints, like actually wanting to participate in those things and be back in the little groupies of people. I've missed talking to people and catching up with people and hearing about other people's lives and seeing what everybody's reading and what their thoughts are. Like, I found myself doing those things because my brain just isn't telling me how much of a horrible, lazy person that I am. It's finally quieted down a little bit. So again, we're here at spooky season. I'm actually not going to do my eyeliner on camera because that creeps me out. So I am going to go and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then I will meet you right back here to talk about some books. Thanks for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I think we should talk about our mental health more, and I love all of you guys, and I'm always here to listen. If anybody needs to talk about anything that they're going through, I'm here. I will listen. I will empathize with you. I will support you, care about you, and yeah, let's go talk about books. Okay, so first up on the list, I have Babel by R.F. Kuang. Now, this is a dark academia book. I am only one chapter in. I was supposed to be reading this all this past week. This is Sydney's book club pick for, I believe it was the September book club pick. Hopefully we're not going to be talking about it until the beginning here of this month because I have not finished this yet. But in this book, we are following Robin. He is traveling to Oxford, and I believe he's going to be studying language, and that is what Babel is. It is the school in Oxford, or the school of language, if you will, at Oxford University. I believe that is depicted here, this tower, and they're studying languages. I am trying to go into this a little bit blind. Now, R.F. Kuang wrote the Poppy War trilogy. I wish I could sit here and say that I loved it. I think I need to give it a reread. I just don't think that maybe I was kind of listening to it just on audiobook. I didn't have, you know, just the print version of the Poppy War. And so I think that maybe I was not really paying attention, or maybe I didn't understand it or whatever, but I think I should give it a reread. But I am excited to read this book. Honestly, I don't think I've heard anything negative about it yet. I know it just came out, so everybody's kind of digesting it and reading it and everything like that. It's kind of a thick book. So there is some magic in this. I'm not sure what the magic entails. 1828 is the year that we are going to be in. We're following Robin. He is an orphan, and he's brought to London by a mysterious Professor Lovell. To listen to the audiobook. He trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in the university's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. The tower and its students are the world center for translation and, more importantly, magic. So there is a magic system. Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using enchanted silver bars, has made the British unparalleled in power as the arcane craft serves the empire's quest for colonization. So I'm not going to read any more than that. So, you know, they obviously use this magic, this understanding what's lost in translation type gift to make them unmatched in power and colonization. So I'm sure there's going to be some type of conflict in there. So I'm super excited to finish reading this. Like I said, I'm only one chapter in, but what I did read, I did enjoy. It seems like it's going to be a really good book. So I'm excited to finish this one. The next books on my list that I really want to read this October, I have started the first one in this duology, and I just think it has perfect vibes for kind of that spooky, dark, mysterious vibe. And that is Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. So in this duology, we are following Victor and Eli. They are started off as college roommates. From what I know, they are now arch nemesis, and I'm not entirely sure, you know, what went wrong, what happened. Back of the book says that they started off as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognized the same sharpness and ambition in each other. In their senior year, a shared research interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences, and seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary, if you will, abilities. But when their thesis moves from the academic to the experimental, things go horribly wrong. So doesn't it just sound amazing? Like, I don't know why I haven't read these two books yet. I like V.E. Schwab. I love her writing. I've only read a couple of books by her before, but honestly, like, these just, they sound so great. So we have the first one, Vicious, and then we have the second one, Vengeful. I'm not going to read the back of this one because I don't want to know anything in case it spoils this one. But again, we're following the two characters, arch nemesis, started off friends. So, I mean, is this friends to enemies? Are we going opposite of the normal, like, romantic enemies to lovers trope? I don't know. But I am super excited. I feel like this is going to be a wild ride. Super excited to get to both of these. Next up, I have two books, similar themes, written by two different authors. And I am all about a good classic slasher horror film. They're some of my favorite things to watch during this time of year. I feel like I've seen most of the mainstream slasher films, the ones from like the 80s and 90s, just chef's kiss, love them, have to rewatch them every single year. But we have The Final Girls by Riley Sager, and then also The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix. In Riley Sager book, The Final Girls, you know, this is kind of like your traditional slasher, right? Like the final girl, let's talk about what a final girl is first and foremost. So a final girl is the last character standing in a horror film or book. if you will. So I believe this one we're going to be following our main character, who is the final girl, or becoming the final girl. So, you know, just the front of the cover says, first there were 3, then there were 2. Can there only ever be one final girl? And I like to go into thrillers, which I imagine this is. I feel like that's what Riley Sager primarily writes. I like to go into those completely blind. I don't even want to read the inside cover flap to know what the name of the main character is. I want to just know nothing about it and go into it. That way I don't have time for my mind to think how the book is going to end. I just want to read it through and through. So this one is following, I believe, just one final girl and, you know, her way to being the final girl. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of death, if you will. But excited to pick this one up. And then after I read this one, I will then pick up the Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. And I do know a little bit about this one. So this one, we are following a support group that is full of all the different Final Girls from, I believe, our most iconic horror films. So there's a support group of all of them. Obviously, they have some PTSD to work through. So they're all in the same support group. And I believe they start being murdered. So I think we're going to start going from having a cast of characters, and then they're slowly going to be killed off. And then maybe we'll be left with one final girl, or, you know, figuring out who the killer is and all that kinds of stuff. So again, kind of want to go into this a little bit blind, but again, both of these books sound fantastic. I love the Final Girls. I love to, you know, see and identify them in the movie. So I'm excited to pick both of these up. Again, 2 different authors, same kind of overarching theme of both of these books. Excited to get to these. Next up, we have a book that I have just recently acquired. I really feel like I haven't heard much about these, but it definitely gives me some Miss Peregrine's, hopefully I'm saying that right, Miss Peregrine's School for Extraordinary Children, or whatever that book was, that series was. We have Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. Now, I have not read anything by this author before. Gosh, just look at that cover. It's stunning. This book definitely gives me that same vibe of that series that I read when I was younger. So in this book, we are following 2 main characters. I believe they're both orphans, and they're both from different places, and they are traveling to a school, I believe. Let's just check the flap. In Victorian London, 2 children with mysterious powers are hunted by a figure of darkness. So we have 16-year-old Charlie, who was born in Mississippi. His body heals himself. Interesting. And then Marlowe. So Marlowe can melt or mend flesh. So 2 orphans who have mysterious powers. I think maybe this is going to be kind of like a journey, if you will. So we're maybe going to follow them to their final destination, which I believe is a school, if I keep reading here. Follows is a story of wonder and betrayal from the gaslit streets of London to the wooden theaters of Tokyo, an eerie estate outside of Edinburgh where other children with gifts and talents have been gathered. They're going to hopefully be in a place where there's other children with magical gifts. They're being, again, hunted by this shadow figure. So I think it should be a good read. It's kind of big, but I am down for like a good, seems like maybe like a historical adventure, magical vibe. I'm excited to pick this one up. I don't know, hopefully it might be the second one I pick up after Babel. That's my first priority, but maybe I'll pick up this one next. Again, it's kind of big, but it seems like it's going to be hopefully like a fast-paced read as we follow these 2 kids being hunted across the world. It kind of seems like, but seems like a good read. I'm excited to get to this one. Next up, I have one horror book that I have had for a while, but I haven't read it. I don't know if in the back of my head I'm like, oh, I'm going to hold on to this until October. I just haven't been in the mood to read it, but I've had it for a couple of months now, and that is called The Book of Accidents, and this is by Chuck Wendig. This one is going to be following a family. They move into this house. I'll read the back of the book because I don't really remember much of what it's about, but long ago, Nathan lived in a house in a country with his abusive father and has never told his family what happened there. Long ago, Maddie was a little girl making dolls in her bedroom when she saw something she shouldn't have and is trying to remember that lost trauma by making haunting sculptures. Long ago, something sinister, something hungry, walked the tunnels and the mountains and coal mines in rural Pennsylvania. Let's pause for a second and talk about why does all the creepy stuff happen in the state in which I reside? Like, Pennsylvania, like, what's going on? Like, why are we just haunted? Like, anyway, I digress. Now Nate and Maddie Graves are married. Kind of seems like a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Trauma, I mean, misery loves company. Trauma attracts trauma, but I don't know. Now Nate and Maddie Grave are married and they have moved back to their hometown with their son Oliver. And now what happened long ago is happening again, and it's happening to Oliver. He meets a strange boy who becomes his best friend, a boy with secrets of his own and a taste for dark magic. This dark magic puts them at the heart of a battle of good versus evil and a fight for the soul of the family and perhaps for all of the world. Escalates quickly. But the Graves family has a secret weapon in this battle: their love for one another. So, now that I've reread the back of the book, I'm kind of... I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to go. I'm going to give it a read. I want to see what happens. It kind of seems like a recipe for disaster. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can get this one on audiobook too, so that I can kind of like maybe potentially have to force myself to kind of get through it. But it does sound interesting. Like, I'm excited to like find out what the secrets may have been. What did Maddie see when she was a kid that she wasn't supposed to see? I mean, who's this mysterious little best friend of their child? Does love conquer all? I mean, against good versus evil? I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Next up, we have a book, and I think I was actually gifted this for Christmas last year. We did like a little book exchange with a book club, so I believe this is what I got for Christmas. I can't remember. I don't have a little gift tag in the front of it, but I don't believe I purchased this myself. But this is What We Devour by Lindsay Miller. And this one, I mean, it looks spooky. I mean, just look at that cover. I mean, it's gorgeous. But this is What We Devour. The back of the book says, sometimes you have to bite the hand that feeds you. I believe this is going to kind of be a demon-esque book. Not very big, but looks like it's going to be good. In this one, we are following Lorena Adler has a secret. She holds the power of the banished gods, the noble and the vile inside of her. She has hidden her entire life, both from the world and from her past. She's content to spend her days as an undertaker in a small town, married to her best friend Julian, and living an unfulfilling life so long as no one uncovers her true nature. But when the notoriously bloodthirsty crown prince comes to arrest Julian's father, he immediately recognizes Lorena for what she is. So she makes a deal for a fair trial for her betrothed's father in exchange for her services to the crown. The prince is desperate for help. He spent years trying to repair the weakening door that holds back the vial, and he's losing the battle. As Lorena learns more about the door and its horrifying price it takes to keep it closed, she'll have to embrace both parts of herself to survive. This sounds fantastic. This one just got bumped up in the reading order in which I'm going to read these books that I've been going through. It sounds so great. So we have, obviously this person who is trying to keep her abilities, if you will, secret, to live a small life, unfulfilled but safe. And so now she is going to be going to work for the Crown Prince to help him keep the vial. at bay. So she obviously has the noble and the vile within her. So I think that this is going to be like a fun little book. I think it has good vibes, and yeah, excited to get to this one. And the last book that I have pulled off my shelves, I think I've had this for like 2 years. I just never got around to reading it last year. So hopefully I'm going to pick it up this year. But would it be spooky season if I didn't have a witchy book to read? And so I have Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. And this one I actually am going to have to read as well, the inside flap, because I have no idea what it's about. But it's witches. The back says, the gods are hunting, an ancient evil awakens, the witches are gathering. So we're obviously going to be battling some type of evil. I imagine our main character is going to be either a witch herself or maybe like find out that she's a witch. So let's just give this inside flap a good read together. 17-year-old Dana Walsh is struggling to cope with her OCD, the aftermath of being outed as a bisexual in her conservative Irish town, and the return of her long-absent mother who barely seems like a parent. But all that really matters to her is ascending and finally becoming a full witch. Okay, so she's a witch. Plans that are complicated when another coven, rumored to have a sordid history with black magic, arrives in a town with premonitions of death. Dana immediately finds herself at odds with the bewitchingly frustrating Maynard King, the granddaughter of their coven leader. And then a witch turns up murdered at a local sacred site, along with the blood symbol of the Butcher of Manchester, an infamous serial killer whose trial has long gone cold. The killer's motives are enmeshed in a complex web of witches and gods, and Dana and Meniere soon find themselves at the center of it all. If they don't stop the butcher, one of them will be next. That's all I'm going to read. That's all I need to read. This sounds great. Why haven't I read this yet? So, witches, love that. Seems like we're definitely going to have like an enemies to lovers. Partners, friends, enemies to friends, enemies to partners, enemies to, hey, we got to team up to beat this ancient evil that's coming about. That sounds great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to, I think I'm going to enjoy these. I think it's a good lineup for the next month or two to kind of just get into these fall vibes. I know the weather is already turning here. Super excited to get into these. So if you have read any of these, because I know some of these are kind of a couple years old, so I imagine I'm just late to the game with some of these. So if you've read any of these, let me know down below. Tell me if you liked them, if you didn't like them. I'm so interested to see if anybody has read this one, because I don't know about this one. The rest of them sound fantastic. All have different, like way different elements in this spread here. Like I said, that we got some magical vibes, we got some horror vibes, we have some witchy vibes, dark academia vibes. I'm excited. I think it's a great lineup for the next couple of months. So let me know if you read any of them, what you thought about it. If you have any really awesome recommendations that you think would go with any of these. I'm looking for some more like witchy vibes, maybe a couple horror or two in there, maybe some dark academia. So let me know if you recommend any other fall books for me to read. And also just let me know what you're picking up this fall. What books are you reading to get into the spooky season? Drop them below. Let's chat about it. And thank you again for all being here, spending a little bit of time with me, catching up, getting back into the swing of things. I hope you all enjoy your fall this October 1st. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hi, editing Erin here. Just wanted to pop back in to say one final thing about the video that I posted today. I know that September was National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. I think we should keep that conversation going throughout the entire 12 months of the year. We should start destigmatizing this very taboo topic that a lot of us have not talked about our entire lives, especially I feel like my generation, we're trying to undo a lot of stuff that was how we were raised and how we were taught not to talk about it. We just didn't talk about things, and I think we should try to break that mold. So I'm going to be putting a couple of resources down in my description box for suicide prevention and awareness, along with mental health awareness and prevention. This topic is just so near and dear to my heart as someone who suffers with extreme anxiety and depression. I want to keep the conversation going. I want people to know that this is a safe space and you can talk to me about anything that you're going through, and there's help available to you. I find myself fearing waking up to see that someone I know, love, care about is no longer with us. And I want to provide educational resources to whoever may need it. So I will pop that down below in my description box, and just check in with your friends, check in with your loved ones. It goes a long way, speaking from experience. Check in on the people who you love, who you care about, even the people that you would think don't struggle with these types of things. Check in on them too. You just never know what people are going through. You never know the battles that people are fighting within their own skin. So I love you all. Thanks for listening to me ramble on again about this, but let's keep this conversation going. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.